He's got him fresh.
Headless Chickens review of Kemsford's versus the World England 18 PPR League.
Yeah, the Kemsfords versus the other 6 people who represent the other continents, apparently.
Okay, that's very good.
I'm going to say Ruggermad is Antarctica.
Ruggermad and the defending champ.
Yes.
So
as it should be.
Yeah, we did review this league last year. I'm Miles.
I'm Kirk.
We're the Headless Chickens. We're doing a YouTube thing this year, so go to YouTube if you're listening to this on the podcast so you can look at the draft board as you listen to us, and we'll be in the corner there, so not that we're anything to look at.
Yeah, you might click us off or block us off with a piece of paper and stick it on your screen.
Take an X-Acto knife.
Exactly, yeah.
Put it on the screen.
That's what I'll be doing. Yeah. You got to improvise.
We got a couple scotches back here, so for you England folk, there you go.
Scotch up. Yeah.
Scotch up.
To cheers. Yeah.
Yeah, scotch up because you're going to need it because we're going to rip some of these picks. But
and praise.
Yeah. If you recall, we have a formula for reviewing drafts. We give out awards: best pick, worst pick, riskiest pick, and safest pick, which we call paying your fantasy bills. Then we'll go through each team, talk about some of the strengths and the weaknesses and path to victory, and then we will choose a winner. Despite all the chaos that's going to happen in the season, especially this season, we will be right.
Yeah. I don't know if we didn't pick the winner last year, did we?
No, we did not.
No.
Though you were close. I picked J. Bud, who I think was in the middle of the standings. You picked either L. Kemsford or M. Kemsford.
Okay, so I went against the world.
Yeah, you went against the world. And M. Kemsford.
Okay.
And they did get to the final, but lost to Ruggermad.
Come on, Kemsford. I didn't give enough good advice throughout the season, I guess, I mean.
It sucks.
Yeah, it happens.
That's what happens when you take on the world.
Yeah.
Antarctica's a cold, cold place. All right, well, we will get going here. Best pick.
Best pick goes to Garside 14 here. His 6th and 7th round picks of Juju Smith-Schuster and A.J. Brown are just spot on. They're absolute steals. They both should have gone, 2 rounds earlier than they did. I love the risk. I mean, this is his 4th and his 5th receiver that he's taken off the board here. And Juju is such a smart play. I mean, he was ranked as one of the top 10 receivers last year. I think he'll jump back up there. To get him in the 6th is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And A.J. Brown's is phenomenal. I mean, that guy's going to take off. The risk reward of A.J. Brown as your 5th receiver in the 7th round is astonishing.
Yeah, their first backup because of these crazy starting lineups, which I do like.
Yeah.
This is, if you're going to have an 8-team league, you've got to have a ton of starters to what the commissioner, I'm assuming the commissioner, or the guy who sent me the picture, he said, it's to mimic a 12-team league, and that is how you should do it.
Yeah, it's got a ton of depth, which is great.
You start 4 receivers, you start 3 running backs, and you have 2 flexes. So, I mean, and you only have 6 bench, so you're playing
a lot of your people,
yeah.
And A.J. Brown is his flex spot right now. I mean, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, he's got to get some more running backs, but I do think he kind of evens that out later in the draft. But yeah, the 7th round, A.J. Brown just sticks out like a sore thumb to me. Yeah. It's such a smooth pick.
I did have that one as one of my runner-ups. It's hard to think about in terms of rounds with the 8 teams for me, but 20th receiver off the board, I would have taken him over Chark, probably over Juju. I would definitely take him over Kupp, over Sutton, over Thielen for me.
Who he also took. Yeah, he made up for it.
Flip Brown in the 4th and Thielen in the 7th, and then I don't like the team as much. I'm just kidding. It makes no sense.
No, it's about value. Yeah,
I'm going to give my best pick to L. Kemsford, who is 3rd round, the 3-2 takes Kenyon Drake. And it is hard in an 8-team league to slander anybody's picks, really. But, everyone's teams are so stacked. But first of all, this is an RB3. You're starting this guy. You're starting Kenyon Drake. This outside of the flex, you need that 3rd running back. But it's about correctly identifying the tiers in the draft. And I think that Kemsford did that. The receiver tier of Thomas is his own tier, of Hopkins, Adams, Julio, and Hill dried up. He doesn't go for Godwin or Evans with that uncertainty. He doesn't go for Golladay with that uncertainty and a bad coach.
Yep.
He just takes Kenyon Drake, who is the tail end of that running back tier that's been going. You could argue Josh Jacobs, and I probably would, but he was also in the Garside runner-up for my one of my best picks. But I really like the Drake pick, resisting taking Evans there, basically, or taking Godwin or taking Cooper there.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. And it's his third running back. You know, he definitely loads up on it. People are taking Drake in a 12-man league sometimes at the end of the first, So, I mean, that's a fantastic pick.
Yeah. What is the difference between Kenyon Drake and Miles Sanders? I mean, I just don't see that much.
Oh.
Drake's got a maybe a bit more of a threat in the depth chart for him because of Edmonds, but then again, he's got a better offense. So in my opinion,
but
the offense is going to run more plays at least.
I think the Eagles, just don't use their running backs fully either. So I think they're kind of on par.
Yeah. All right. What is the worst pick?
Oh, the worst pick goes right after Kenyon Drake. It's Mike Evans by B Third Man Dan.
Oh, we had this conversation last time too. It's Beard Man. The 3 is an E.
Beard Man Dan. Okay, whatever.
Beard Man. There are letters for a reason.
Yeah, Man Dan. We're just going to call you Man Dan.
Oh, I like that.
At least I will.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have taken Mike Evans right there. You should have taken Josh Jacobs or Fournette or Aaron Jones or Nick Chubb, all of those people. For the same reasons you said, let's take Kenyon Drake. Mike Evans is with now an old quarterback who can't throw deep, and that is Mike Evans' game. He's not a precise route runner. I mean, I take Chris Godwin over Mike Evans. I put the rank right there as well. And while I do love Mike Evans, I don't love his situation this year. And there's, you could have got him in the next round. Amari Cooper, his next pick in the 4th round was better than taking Mike Evans there. And that's mostly me being a Mike Evans hater.
Yeah.
But I think, he puts up some duds. Brady puts up some duds. And you're not going to want that as your 3rd pick in the draft come October. You're going to be like, oh, man, why'd I take him? Because Evans is going to be as good as, Stephon Diggs down there or, DJ Chark. I mean, he's going to be inconsistent. You want consistency in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I definitely agree that should have been Jacobs, that pick there for, you know what? I'm going to call him Ardman Dan. I don't acknowledge the B3. Ardman Dan.
Ardman Dan.
But he does get Diggs later. So.
Well, yeah.
This is a PPR, by the way, which even makes Evans over Godwin even more interesting.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Evans. He really, really could have dropped much farther. I'd rather, he takes Kelsey there. I feel better. I mean, it was the wrong pick at the wrong time. It was the first real miscue that I saw in the draft, really. I don't know.
My worst pick, I'm going to go over to, I believe it's just NJ Davidson. In the screenshot I took, there was still the live mark.
So it was still his pick.
Yeah. So it appears to be NJ Davidson still on the clock. But Aaron Rodgers at the 8-8, end of the 8th round. Not because there's so much at risk in the 8th round that there's you're going to lose your league or anything, but this was just reactionary to the run before it. Dak, Kyler, Russell, Josh Allen, Matt Ryan taken before Aaron Rodgers. I think that NJ Davidson should have thanked his lucky stars his or her lucky stars and said, wow, look at this pile of receivers that fell back to me. I have my pick of the litter and gone, Metcalf Allen or Landry Boyd or something. Should have taken 2 of those, accepting that the quarterbacks have plenty to go in the 10th and 11th round. When it got back to him all the way later to the 10th and 11th round, there was still Breeze, Brady, Stafford. There was still good value there.
And they're on par with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. You do start 2 quarterbacks, but everyone had kind of, we were still in the beginning. 12 quarterbacks had not even gone on the board. Rodgers is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th quarterback off the board. So didn't have to do this and should have used the run to your advantage and taken those receivers that probably shouldn't have been there at the end of the 8th.
Yeah, definitely panicked. Went with the run. I agree with that. Just one too many. I was okay with the Matt Ryan pick. But the tier, like you were saying with Kenyon Drake earlier, the tier of quarterback dried up.
Yeah.
Now you're picking somebody else.
Yeah.
Now you're in the other tier where you could have got Ben Roethlisberger, and that's as equal to Aaron Rodgers to me.
Yeah. It's so hard not to talk about the other quarterback situation we got going up there in the top right corner. But I promise we will get to it. Nathan.
Oh, Nathan, man.
All right. Riskiest pick. Who's rolling the dice here?
Riskiest, I got to give it to Rugger Mad, defending champion. But the Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire as your first and second pick is just so reaching for the stars.
I love it.
Oh, man. I mean, to me, it's risky. I like it, and I don't. That's why I give it the risky award pick, because Miles Sanders is like, you don't know how the Eagles are really going to use him. It's his second year. He just had a good end of the season last year. Is Boston Scott going to cut in there? Does Sanders actually fill a full season? And then you have Edwards-Helaire, who hasn't played it down. Sure, he's on Kansas City, but consistency-wise, there's so many people to take besides Clyde Edwards-Helaire there. I like that he went running back, but he took like the two riskiest running backs in like that top 15 of running backs to take.
You got to shoot your shot in this league.
But in the first and second round, that's why it's risky. I don't know. To me, I'm just like, whoo, that's my team going into the season. I'm shaking a little bit. But maybe he likes that. Maybe that's part of Rugger Mad's madness,
Yeah, I'm just let's do it right now. Let's talk about Nathan M.
Nathan M, man.
Nathan M, who puts the most boring username, but plays a totally different sport than the other 7 teams as far as fantasy strategy. He takes Mahomes, Lamar Jackson back-to-back at the turn, first round and start of second round, and also delays running back until the 8th round. So he just absolutely goes for it. No one else takes a quarterback until the end of the 7th round.
Yeah.
Which I love. Bravo to everyone in this league, the other 7 players, for that massive FU to Nathan, which makes his
they just
so
stick
weird
out in the corner over there.
But we're at that point. We talked about it before, where every 20 years the NFL turns over. When the Brady Breeze Manning thing came through, it took over from the Elway Young Marino days, and that's happening again.
Yeah.
That is happening, and it's Mahomes, and it's Jackson, and it's Dak. I don't know. We don't exactly know what it's going to be.
I think Mahomes you can put in the group, but nope, everybody else is still waiting to be proven.
We're not sure yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a very, very risky strategy, and I love the idea of popping both of them in my lineup. You do start 2 quarterbacks, so it's not crazy.
Yeah.
I love the idea of popping them both in the lineup. I feel like he lost a lot of running back value for it, exasperated by the fact that he does 4 receivers after this, which is my runner-up risky thing to do.
Oh, yeah. It's the way he follows it up that makes it look even more astonishing.
Yeah.
You're just like, holy smokes, dude.
I mean, not to keep talking about Nathan's team, but I think that he got boxed into that with the Jacobs, Fournette, Jones, Chubb run that happens right before him at the end of the 3rd. I mean, what's he going to do? Go back-to-back Bell, Gurley, be over Godwin and Golladay?
Yeah.
I think that Godwin and Golladay fell to him. He took the value where it is. But anyway, this strategy is different. This strategy is risky.
Definitely zigged while everybody else was zagging. Yeah.
One of these quarterbacks doesn't do the very, very top of their MVP potential, and they're worthless to you. Mahomes at QB5 and Jackson at QB3, Nathan's losing.
Oh, yeah.
They got to be 1 and 2 to make this worth it.
And he doubled down on it. Said, this is 1 and 2. I'm going to take the championship, and I'm going to hope that all the running backs get COVID, and I'm going to pick up the guys,
that is interesting. I have thought about zero OB this year.
Just because there's going to be COVID. Random people. Yeah, there's going to be 6-string running backs out there in November, just to pick up. But there'll also be receivers like that. So I think receivers so much easier to get.
Yeah, and, I mean, we're not even 6 feet apart right now. So Kemsford, look, America sucks at this.
Yeah, that's why the Kemsfords are together and it's the world, right? So they're quarantined.
They're quarantined.
And everybody else is out there running around rugger mad,
I don't know how England's doing with the pandemic. Obviously, America is doing very bad. We're in Washington State, so we're doing a lot better.
Yeah,
I think
we're as far away from the South as we can get.
as far away from the fucking South. But
oh man,
the hardest part about the pandemic, in reflection to the NFL, is the traveling. It's really going to be extremely interesting when they go from place to place. Washington is extremely strict. So is California, so is New York. And those places are going to be different than Louisiana and Florida.
I mean, Florida, Georgia,
Texas,
our first game, Seattle's first game's in Atlanta. I'm like, oh man, that's going to be trouble.
Why is wearing your mask so political in America? Don't ask us.
I know.
There's a lot of dumb people here.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and you can tell by the fact that we're able to talk for 16 minutes straight that we're not Trump supporters.
Yeah,
otherwise we would have just been sitting here
made logical statements. Yeah,
at least one or two.
Yeah, that's just a good thing. That's just a good thing. You can
that's
see
What is the safest pick? This is the safest pick. People are saying it's very safe.
Very, very safe. Yeah. Are we moving on to safe picks?
Safe picks.
Safe picks. All right. You know what? It goes to Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley. That's NJ Davidson, right in the fourth and fifth round. Bringing in the whole COVID thing. I love taking veterans this year. I love taking a Bell. I love taking a Gurley. They're going to get their opportunities. They're smart. They don't need so much of a preseason, I don't think. And he needs another running back. So why not just double down on two veterans that are in prove-it seasons for their respective teams? And I just love taking that at the turn. He locks up his running backs behind Christian McCaffrey. And, and I'm a big Le'Veon Bell fan and a Gurley fan this year. So, I mean, they're kind of steals, but they're also super, super safe. I mean, he could go risky here. He could take back-to-back receiver and just load up on all of that. He could do anything, but he's like, okay, let's just take running back 2 and 3. One of them's got to work, hopefully. And I'm upset. I got McCaffrey, but I have my compliment to it as well.
Well, we really must be brothers, because I basically had the same speech, but about J. Bud with David Johnson and Melvin Gordon in the fourth and the fifth round.
All right, yeah.
And the one thing I have to add about it, and I think very much the same, like there was tempting receivers there. The one thing I have to add about it, and I can't remember if I already said this, but I don't think it's possible to have bad wide receivers.
No.
I think you could have. I don't know how you can even have bad receivers. There's not a name on the board that I don't love until we get to Ruggs in the 13th. Maybe Debo in the 11th because there's only 6 bench in this league and he's going to re-injure that foot. But yeah, so he takes Johnson and Gordon. That probably did not feel well for Jay Bud right there. But then we come back to the 6th and 7th round, and the 9th round is Chark, it's Lockett, it's Jarvis. Later he gets Hollywood Brown, CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
What did it didn't really hurt him that much. That's a good pack of 5 receivers there.
Yeah, all to back up Michael Thomas, who he took in the beginning.
Right.
So yeah.
And I feel like that Michael Thomas safety blanket is what made him feel comfortable doing the Johnson-Gordon thing.
Yeah. But I think taking veteran running backs this year, especially there in the middle rounds, it's just such a nice value.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they stay healthy, but I think that they will produce their value throughout the months to come.
Yeah, I like the receivers more, but there's just such a deep well of them.
Yeah. Like you said, all the way down to the 11th round. I mean, Marquise Brown down there in the 11th?
Yeah.
Woo, let's go.
Yeah, even after J. Bud takes 4 running backs in a row, and by the time he's finished taking his starting receivers, he takes Landry. There's still Parker on the board. There's still Shepard. There's still Gallup on the board. There's still Christian Kirk on the board. So Marvin Jones.
Plenty of value. Yeah,
there's a lot of receivers.
And the running backs dry up quick. Ooh, they dry up. Yeah.
they basically dry up after that.
Yeah.
After the Carson pick by M. Kemsford, who's got a Seahawks emblem.
Hey.
Was that there last time?
I don't know, but maybe that's why I picked him to win last time,
Maybe.
He's a Seahawks, and then the L Kemsford is a Steelers, which I'm just like, oh, man.
Yeah, and we got Ruggerman's got this tiny little Patriots.
See, no wonder he won the championship. He's a Patriots fan. He's been watching good football, yeah. Meanwhile, Dan over there's got the old leather helmet, so he hasn't watched film since the 50s.
And Nathan M is suspended for those spikes on the helmet. That's not legal.
I know. He's like the Vontaze Perfect out there,
All right. Well, let's go through the teams quickly here. We're at the 20-minute mark, so I think we're going to make it on time here.
Wow.
go through the teams, and then we will pick a winner. Let's start with N.J. Davidson, who I can't tell what helmet that is. I think that's just a foot, right?
Kind of looks like Iowa's, the Hawkeyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
somehow doubt that since they're from England, but whatever.
He's a Hawkeyes fan.
He's a Hawkeye. N.J. Davidson, noted Hawkeye.
Yeah, he's mad that the Big Ten, canceled their year. But
is Iowa where Kittle came from, or there's like some tight end university in Iowa somewhere? I think that's Iowa State.
That might be Hawkinson and the Fant thing. Was that Iowa? I don't know. Anyways, yeah,
a lot of three good tight ends came from some school in the Midwest. You're welcome, N.J. Davidson. Let's move to L. Kemsford. No.
That's just good analysis right there, yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about it at all, but N.J. Davidson, it wasn't the first pick, took McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Anything?
Smart. Yeah. It's between two people. It's Barkley or McCaffrey. I'm fine with it. Yeah. I like his Julio Jones Tyreek at the turn. He doesn't go for the stack of running backs, but there is that top 5 tier of receivers, and it ends with Julio Jones and Hill, and he took it. He went for it.
For the same reason that I praised L. Kemsford for taking Drake, N.J. Davidson is also praised for reading the tier there. If it's Julio Evans or if it's Julio Godwin, if it's Julio Galladay, I don't feel the same. I think Hill is in that tier. He's a wide receiver 1 for Pat Mahomes. He's a first round pick in this league, for crying out loud.
I know. I mean, I love Tyreek Hill, but people just think that the wealth is going to be spread more this year. And I'm just like, dude, we forgot who Tyreek Hill is, man. He's so friggin' good. He's so quick. He's crafty. He goes up and gets the ball like Randy Moss, but he's 5'10".
Yeah, and he's got that Hilton thing going on. He's so fast that people don't respect that he actually runs good routes.
Yeah.
Julio and Hill, that's a great stack.
Yeah. And then
he did
I praised him for the Bell and the Gurley. That's awesome. Those first 5 picks.
Yeah.
Boom.
And Montgomery's a nice, safe RB4 there as well. I like that pick.
Yeah.
Philip Lindsay, notorious Philip Lindsay haters, this podcast.
Yeah.
But he's finally where he should be.
Way down
there. So I kind of like it again.
I do think that was okay. I mean, the quarterback situation with Rodgers, Brady, and Garoppolo, I'm a little concerned with.
Yeah, that's not a good group. That's not a good group for an 8-team league.
Yeah, but this is the guy that did the Brady Gronk connection. I wonder how that's going to turn out.
I think that was a wasted. Is that a turn itself? No.
Yeah. But he waits to get Brady on the way back, but
you just wasted your 11th and 12th round picks, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I do like the Keenan Allen steal in the 9th. I mean, that's a smart, crafty pick. Allen's going to get his targets, but quarterback is the position that Davidson's going to. He's going to lose some points there, but hopefully McCaffrey makes them up for him, and he can win some matchups.
Yeah, I appreciate that he takes Madison, even though he doesn't have Cook. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Screw you,
spite
Kemsford.
Gotta take those spite picks, man.
Yeah, that's how you should do it. Hope that Cook gets hurt, and you have Madison.
Yep.
All right, L. Kemsford takes Barkley with the 102. That's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do. I got Barkley an argument for 101.
Yeah, I lean both ways. It's really going to be a draft day decision, depending on if I have the number 1 pick or not.
I mean, rarely does the RB1 repeat.
Yeah.
And if Barkley doesn't get hurt last year, I mean, I think we're even more pumped. He got hurt, had his numbers dip, and we're still got him at the 102.
Yeah. He's that good.
Yeah.
He puts a whole season together. He can put up McCaffrey numbers.
Yeah. The Mixon Drake thing,
awesome.
I absolutely love it. You remember, you start those guys, all 3 of them.
Yeah. Mixon, I love. I mean, that's a great pick in itself. I would have taken Mixon where Miles Sanders got taken. I really like him on the Bengals. Burrow's going to do a bunch of checkdowns. Yeah. I mean, Mixon's PPR stats are going to go way up.
I agree. Mixon would have definitely been over Henry and Eckler for me. So that was a nice fall.
Yeah.
Robinson, Ridley, Metcalf, Cooks, Brown, great receiver core. I don't think anybody has a bad receiver core. Maybe Rugger Mad, but we'll talk about him for a minute. And that's for a reason. But I almost put Jonathan Taylor as a best pick. Okay. Then I almost put it as a worst pick. And then I tried to put it as a risky pick and ultimately decided I can't figure out what this pick is. Yeah. Late 6, Jonathan Taylor. That's over Marlon Mack. And it's just saying this rookie is going to find playing time with the best offensive line in the league. That's a risk.
See, I like it. It's for his team. It's perfect. Like if that was a different team, that's not his fourth running back off the board. If it's somebody else that doesn't have the solid Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake, if they don't have that, then I'm a little more nervous about Jonathan Taylor. But he's got 3 solid running backs. He doesn't even need Jonathan Taylor.
But remember, that's the equivalent of an RB. I mean, that's your first backup.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's what I like about it.
Okay.
You know, by the time Jonathan Taylor gets going, maybe then Drake falls off, or then maybe Barkley gets an injury or something. But Taylor's going to do good by the end of the year.
I'm more of a fan of having my first backup be able to step in for the inevitable week 1 snap of the knee of my first round pick.
Yeah. Well, we all would like that, but, you know, we can keep dreaming. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, receivers are good. Robinson, Ridley, Metcalf, Cooks. I don't disagree with any of this. Brown.
I like the Ridley with Matt Ryan. You know, he's one of those guys that did the pair there, and I love Ridley. I mean, I think that's a steal in itself.
And Cooks with Breeze. Oh wait, no, that was 4 teams ago for Cooks. God, what is up with Brandon
I don't know, but he'll put up somehow another 1,000-yard season and 6 touchdowns, even though he does nothing for you fantasy wise.
Man,
God.
So Ryan, Breeze, and then he takes Tannehill at the very end. So that's a nice backup.
You know, I love that he got Jerry Jeudy in the 19th. I mean, that's the steal of the draft. I mean, we're talking about all these great picks that people have made, but getting
You love Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy, man. And the 19th pick, you know, but I got to say, he's the only team that didn't pick a kicker or a defense. So he's going to have to drop somebody, probably Duke Johnson.
Well, you know, I don't mind that. I don't mind that strategy because there's no preseason, so just kind of see how the news shapes out and
see who gets COVID and go from there.
Oh man. So I like that. Want to go over to Ardman Dan?
Ardman
who
Dan.
You call Mandan.
Mandan. All right.
And we do not acknowledge the B3.
Yeah. Mandan goes Kamara. So I think you would have taken Elliott.
I would have taken Elliott. I have Elliott as the last in a tier with McCaffrey and Barkley. That's how much I love Elliott. So I don't agree with that pick.
I like Kamara. I'm cool with it. I still think his touchdowns went down last year. He was playing through injuries. Breeze missed 5 games. I think he sees a better, stable stat line this year. I mean, arguably I'm taking Elliott there, but I don't mind it. I still think it's fine.
Yeah, I have a lot of worry about the age of Breeze. But then again, Breeze goes down, Winston comes in. That's probably good for fantasy. So, and I can see both sides. We're talking about the first 4 picks. We love them all. So
yeah, pretty much. You really can't go wrong.
But I would take Elliott. I expect such huge things out of Dallas this year with that stacked offense, and they'll have fans because they're in Texas, probably.
Yeah, but they got that.
They don't give a shit.
They got that Dallas hype again, man. It's just Dallas never does good when they're hyped.
Yeah. What about Henry coming back here at the end of the second? Henry over Mixon, Henry over Drake, Henry over Jacobs. That's not according to our rankings.
I would have taken Mixon. I would have taken Jacobs. I probably would have taken Drake. But Henry's just a guy I can't place this year. Mm-hmm. So I don't hate a Mandan for taking Henry, but I just have a hard time taking him myself. Yeah. Mostly because you're already giving away the PPR stats. The guy's not going to get more than 20 catches.
Yeah.
So you're already giving that up, and then you need him to be like a top 5 running back. I mean, like rushing yards wise. You need him to be putting in those touchdowns, making those big runs. You think it's safe, but it's also not.
You think that you can predict touchdowns, but go back through the years. You can't anymore. You used to be able to in the late 90s and early 2000s, but you really can't. And no better example than, Julio Jones over there later in the second round. One of the best players of all time. Remember, Calvin Johnson got to set the record for receiving yards.
4 touchdowns. Right? Yeah.
Michael Thomas last year, the most catches of all time, and didn't get to double-digit touchdowns. But Henry is a good bet. It kind of reminds me of Devontae Adams right before him. A good bet for multiple or double-digit touchdowns.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's safe, but it also can backfire.
Yeah. So Evans, Cooper, Diggs. We talk about we don't like the Evans pick.
But I like the Cooper and Diggs pick, so.
I don't like the Cooper pick.
The Cooper? You're down on Cooper. You expect big things from Dallas, but not Amari Cooper.
That's right. Well, I think Cooper will be a huge part of that offense, but not the part.
Yeah.
And that is always worrisome to me. I mean, to me, Cooper's ceiling is capped by the involvement of Gallup and Lamb and Zeke and Blake Jarwin.
Steal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't like it. But then again, am I going to say for sure that I'm going to take Robinson, Ridley, or Diggs or Beckham over Cooper? No, I'm not. I think that's just a tier break. This receiver group here, James White, I don't like that pick.
Oh, White and Ingram. You know, it's just the thing about Mandan's team here is he didn't take enough risk. You know, it's just like at the top, 13 rounds, I'm just like, God, I just wish you would have went for a rookie or a playmaker or just somebody that could spark. You know, Stephon Diggs is like his biggest risky pick in the 5th round there, but just these boring Mark Ingram's, T.Y. Hilton, the Austin Hooper, or, the Ben Roethlisberger in the 13th. I just wanted him to. He never really took a shot at anybody.
Maybe he didn't like the feeling after taking Kamara over Elliott against ADP. Maybe he didn't like that feeling, and it shocked him into just going kind of
steady
Eddie.
Yeah.
Though, I will say, Christian Kirk is one of my absolute sleepers. One of just the value for me. I think that guy's going to blow up.
Oh, I think he's going to be a huge value for whoever gets him in a draft.
Yeah. Thank you, agnostic Kirk.
Yeah. Just Hopkins is getting all the love. Mm-hmm. He just came over there, but Kirk's got the chemistry.
Yeah.
So, agnostic Kirk.
So I'm not into the James White pick. I'm okay with the Mark Ingram pick, though I wish he would have taken Dobbins a little bit later. Though Dobbins does go fairly early to Nathan. But, I'm not into it. Breida's okay. So, Ardman Dan, Beardman Dan, B3 Ardman Dan.
I really hope the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs thing works out. If that hits, he's got a good chance to stay competitive. But if that misses, his team is going to be too steady to actually beat teams.
Yeah, I don't see that hitting to the level of winning an 8-man league.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. Garside 14. New York Giants fan. He's the one who gets Elliott. I'm sure he's very happy about it.
Yeah. He's like, all right, I hate Dallas, but I'll just root for that one guy.
Hey, fantasy isn't about rooting. I
do the same thing.
You got to just take the numbers, man.
I mean, we're Seahawks. I'll take a Niners running back, and I hate the Niners, but I'm going to take those points when Mostert gets 2 touchdowns, It's
absolutely. Hey, who won you or got you second last year in our main league? It was Debo.
Yeah. See?
So, Adams was a great pick. So Elliott in the 1st round, I don't think we have any argument with that. Adams is a great pick. I'm warming up on Adams so much more than our receiver episode where I had him like 4th or 5th. Now I've got him pretty firmly number 2. And the reason is simple. There's no one else.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers isn't going to throw for 2,000 yards this year. He's still going to put up his stats over time, especially when Green Bay's plans to be, 1986 New York Giants fails. The 1987 Cleveland Browns, maybe I should call them. But I think Adams is probably the most confident I am in touchdowns. Like I mentioned with the Henry thing.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
They're going to come.
And he's going to get peppered with targets. I mean, he's like Michael Thomas, and I'm thinking the next most consistent guy getting targets this year, Devontae Adams. I mean, that guy is just, there's nobody else on the field. So, yeah, that's an awesome pick.
We're into the Jacobs in Vegas.
I love Josh Jacobs. I mean, that is a steal. In 12-man leagues, I see him go in the 1st round. Yeah. And when he doesn't, I take him in the 2nd.
So we talked a lot about that receiver group from Thielen to Brown. Let's talk about what he does. So he gets Russell in that big, huge quarterback run in the 8th round. Let's talk about what he does with the running backs here, starting in the 9th round and 10th, 11th. The RB3 is Raheem Mostert.
Yep.
Then that is not your first backup. That is your 3rd starting running back in this league. And then Swift and then Akers. That is just too thin of ice for me. That is too thin of ice.
Yeah, he's banking on one of those 3 to work. But, I don't mind taking the 2 rookies there. But, yeah, Mostert's kind of his 3, I suppose. But even the San Fran running back position isn't consistent. So he's basically got 3 guys that could take the lead roles on their teams or could not. And he's going to have to start somebody. Who is he starting week 1 as his 3rd running back? I don't know.
probably Mostert, and it could go very bad for him. You know, the Kyle Shanahan RB1 thing that Mostert is getting this, praise for. It's like, just let me remind you that when Alfred Morris put up those big numbers, we were drafting Roy Helu,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that name.
Helu Jr.
Yeah, when Devontae Freeman exploded in the Kyle Shanahan offense, we were drafting Tevin Coleman before him.
Yep.
And so, therefore, there may be an RB1 coming this year, and I don't think it's Mostert.
Yeah. Honestly, McKinnon's the sleeper guy.
That would be so funny.
I know. Tears two ACLs and then just starts crushing it. But
yeah, I like the Swift pick, though. I like the Akers pick. So Garside recognizes the same thing we recognize, which is that he's got to shoot for the stars and have something hit here to be a consistent RB3.
Yeah, and I like what he did with quarterback. I mean, Wilson paired with Mayfield and Goff is just nice. The Mayfield-Goff combination is the same thing he did with his RB3. He's like, okay, I'm going to take two quarterbacks, somebody's going to hit. And I really like Mayfield this year. I kind of think Jared Goff is just the smug moron nowadays. I don't know. There's just something about Jared Goff I just don't get. Just seems
interesting.
Just seems smug and doesn't know how to read a defense. I don't know. Maybe I just watched Hard Knocks and I'm just like, God, Jared Goff.
Being too smug does affect your decision making because you think you read the defense and you're like, surely I did because these guys don't know what they're doing. But then they do know and they pick you off.
Yeah. Jay Cutler style. Jay Cutler thought he was good. He read the defense, but he bullets one at a middle linebacker that's got nobody 5 yards around him. And, that's Jared Goff to me. But anyways, I like Garside's team.
Yeah.
But yeah, the running back, the third running back is his question. But that's an okay question to have.
Yeah. Well, in contrast with Ardman Dan, Garside has the right elements of risk and safety that we tend to like out of a screenshot picture of a draft. All right, let's go to J-Bud 27.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time on each team, but that's fine.
There's 8 of them. They deserve a little extra time,
Yeah. They're quarantined over there and they're on an island.
Yeah. Brutal. Yeah. But
Michael Thomas. Was that the right time to take Michael Thomas for J-Bud 27? After McCaffrey, Barkley, Kamara, Elliott.
It's tough. I think I'm still taking running backs at this point, but I really can't blame him the way the league is set up. I mean, you're taking Michael Thomas is on a tier of his own. It's just it's Michael Thomas, and then we talk about is it Hill, is it Adams, is it Hopkins, is it Jones? Then you're talking about that. But so he does lock down the most consistent person and the most that he could get there because all the running backs after them, there's questions. But so I don't disagree with it in that sense, but personally, I'm still taking Dalvin Cook. I might take Mixon.
I might take Edwards-Helaire, to be honest. God, I'm into the Chiefs, but I know.
Yeah.
I also feel like there was still an elite running back to be had. And as we talked about, it's not possible to have bad wide receivers. It's just not possible.
No.
Except for maybe Ruggermad, which we'll get to.
Yeah, but he loads up on the 4 running backs. Like you're praising him about the David Johnson, Melvin Gordon there, but he also has Eckler. He also got Fournette.
Yeah,
I mean that's just a solid 4 running backs right there.
Yeah, I personally don't really like any of those running backs except for Gordon, but I understand why they can have value. And then as I talked about in the safety section, the safety award, the receivers he does get, the 5 receivers he pulls out from round 6 to 12. Are perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
And in the middle there, by the way, he gets Kyler Murray,
yes.
who I just love this year.
Yep. And he kind of starts that quarterback run, really.
I mean, because Dak goes from Kemsford, and then J-Bud says, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. He's the third team to take a quarterback. Because, Mahomes, Jackson, Watson, Dak, and then it's Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. He starts that run. And then he gets Landry on the way back because the run happened. And Landry is the most consistent, awesome. Just plug him in your lineup. He's going to be a wide receiver 2 at the end of season stats. He's always between wide receiver 12 and 24 for the last 5 years.
And that was NJ Davidson's fault for not taking those receivers and letting them get back to J-Bud and Kemsford, who started this run.
Yeah. Come on, Davidson. Davidson. Aaron Rodgers, MVP this year. Yeah.
J-Bud's team. So it's Kyler, it is Daniel Jones, and then it is Gardner.
Yep.
Daniel Jones, man, he's one of the hardest people for me to rank. 4 really good games, but it is so hard to shake the bafflement of him being drafted 6th overall and the other games.
I know. And the thing I don't, it's hard to read him mostly because of the new coach that you know nothing about.
Yeah. And that's hard.
I mean,
in these COVID times,
yeah.
I don't like the new coach teams.
Yeah. And Daniel Jones this is his second year, right?
Right.
I mean, he only got to play a little bit and he got to just run and gun. We're practicing while we're playing pretty much. It's like you turn the ball over 4 times. Nobody cares. We're just going to keep playing. Yeah. This year it's different. So he is a hard guy to place in the sense, is he actually going to throw the ball all that often? We don't know what to expect out of the Giants. But
a lot of good weapons, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the thing. There's so much hype and there's so much worry and concern as well. But, it's a good... I like that he paired Minshew with him, just like the same type of guy that you don't know what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah. I would prefer that he take Tannehill or something there.
Something consistent.
Or Rivers.
Yeah.
I would definitely, I'd feel much better if he had that kind of boring quarterback there, because I'm not a big Minshew fan.
But as far as receivers go, this guy nailed it.
Yeah, without sacrificing draft capital. Remember that he took that David Johnson, Melvin Gordon. That is why that was so good. I just think that was really good.
That's J-Bud for you, man. J-Bud.
J-Bud?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to M. Kemsford. One of the Kemsfords taking on the world. Takes Dalvin at the 6th overall. So Dalvin, sounds like you agree.
I agree with that. Dalvin Cook's the 5th running back off the board for me. Mm-hmm. He's not doing the holdout. It's just not worth it this year. Just play football, I mean, it's just...
The CBA is different, too. You don't...
Yeah,
it's no joke now.
There's no concern with taking him anymore, and the Vikings are a running team. He's proven he can be a pass catcher. The guy stays healthy. He's putting up points. I mean, the guy for the first 12 weeks last year was like, Dalvin Cook, let's go, He's like the new Todd Gurley almost,
If he didn't tail off a little bit in December there, we would be absolutely talking about him with Kamara and Elliott.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we kind of are.
We are, but we don't put him above because he had that bad little end of the season.
But if he had done well there, he would be for sure over those guys.
Yeah. He really would. So awesome pick there. The Hopkins in the second.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I would have taken Adams, Julio, or Tyreek over Hopkins.
Yeah. Hopkins is my 5th on that receiver tier. I would have taken Hill, but this was his shooting for the stars. Yeah. But the thing I didn't like is he had the chance to take Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
he took Watson and Prescott.
You love stacking.
Stack that guy. Stack that. Why not?
I usually don't support your love for the stack. Oh. But in an 8-team league, you have to do so good to win it. You have to do so good. You can't just skate by. And I think you should stack.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to in an 8 league, I think especially.
I'm just not a fan of the Hopkins thing because in this season, I'm just leaning towards continuity as much as I possibly can. And when we're still at the very beginning of the second round in an 8-team league, so it's just the 13th pick or 11th pick, that I would rather take Adams, who's got Rodgers. I ran Hulu, who's got Ryan, Hill, who's got Mahomes. Yeah. I would much prefer that.
Yeah. I agree. He could have justified it if he had Kyler Murray. I wouldn't hate that pick as much, but now it sticks out to me. But
yeah, well, can we skip to quarterback here real quick? We'll come back to his running backs. Yeah. But what about this Watson Dak thing? 7th, 8th round, getting the QB 3 and 4 of the league.
Yeah, I mean, take Kyler Murray there, but I do like the idea of taking the stack almost like Nathan did in the 1st and 2nd round. Mm-hmm. But he takes the that top the 2 quarterbacks that are left in the top 5 of quarterbacks. Yep. So I kind of like it, but I wanted him to take Kyler Murray. I just wanted that stack.
I understand. I love it. I almost put it as my best pick. The Watson Dak thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to talk so much about quarterbacks in the awards, but he gets the QB3 and QB4. If you simulate the 2020 season 70 times, there's plenty of worlds where Deshaun Watson and Dak outscore Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And Kemsford didn't have to do anything for it. 7th and 8th round pick. Nathan paid a premium.
Yeah.
A real premium. Nathan paid a Julio Jones, a Joe Mixon, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire Hopkins premium for it.
While Kemsford paid an A.J. Green, Terry McLaurin price, right?
Roger mad.
Yeah.
So I really, really liked the Watson-Dak stack. And you know what? He's got his running backs, got Aaron Jones, got Carson, he's got Singletary. We're huge Singletary supporters on the show.
Yep.
And then he's like, okay, fine. I need to start 4 receivers.
Yep.
And it's the 9th round. I have 1. I'll just start taking them. Boyd, Parker, Shepard, Crowder. I love them all.
Yeah.
Especially PPR for Crowder. It's not possible to have bad receivers. It's just not possible.
Yeah, he really did. He got his positions. Even Kittle in the 4th is fine with me. I thought that was okay. He takes an elite tight end. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the way he loads up on the rest of the receivers later, because if Boyd doesn't do well, if Parker doesn't do well, or Shepard or Crowder, there's somebody on the waiver wire. There's going to be somebody in week 4, a name that you never heard of, playing for the Washington Redskins, and all of a sudden he's the guy, or this guy on this team. There's always somebody that comes out of nowhere. So if you're going to skimp on a position, he picked the right position to skimp on.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And he gets one of the top 2 tight ends, got Kittle in there, which are you still thinking there's a crust of 2, or do you put Andrews or Hooper or Allen?
I still think it's Kelsey Kittle. When you're talking Andrews, you're still at a risk. He hasn't proven it year after year.
Yeah.
I do like Andrews, but I'm also just I'm just a little skeptical.
So then Kemsford did right by saying, I'm going to get that last tight end in the tier right after Ruggermad takes Kelsey.
Yeah.
Call it good. I really like the team. I'm a huge fan of Kemsford for this team. Just that receiver run makes everything else before it look so good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And it's just, if he took Kyler Murray, I would love his team. Go trade J Bud Watson for Murray. Just do that.
Straight up.
Just straight up, yeah.
At the 20-minute mark, I thought we were going to make a half-hour episode here. We are coming up on 50.
I knew it.
That's fine. We don't have another draft to review today, so this is just us.
Yeah, so you guys get all of our attention. That's the Scotch kicks in.
That's the Scotch. It is Glen. What are we drinking? Glendronach 12.
Glendronach.
It's not one of the distilleries we visited. We visited Glenfarclas, Glengoyne. Did we go to Bunnahabhain, or we just get Bunnahabhain tasting? But we went to
I think we just got that one
as well. Yeah. Anyway,
blah blah blah. Yeah, Kemsford's got a good team. I think he'll be in it again this year.
Kemsford.
Yeah.
Though I think we liked L. Kemsford. This is a half hour ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Ruggermad with the tiny little Patriots logo here.
Yeah, these last 2 teams, definitely. We got to talk about these guys. Holy smokes.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, I already said this was the riskiest pick. So.
Well, Ruggermad's got the winner's confidence.
Yep.
Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the risky pick for him.
Yep.
But Chubb at
that's huge.
Great value.
Yeah, I love the Chubb pick. He's lucky you fell back to him, but that makes the Edwards-Helaire pick with some safety net behind it.
Yeah, J Bud, who probably stopped listening after we stopped reviewing his team. Fournette over Chubb, that is a quizzical one. That's a quizzical one.
Yeah.
And I mean, unless you think Fournette's targets are going to continue, which I don't think so. By the actions of the Jaguars, it doesn't seem like it.
But there's some doubt with Chubb just because Kareem Hunt's there. So I think that's what keeps dropping Chubb's value.
No, that's what I mean. I mean that Fournette and Chubb are in the same situation, not their targets are going away. Okay. And the only reason I could see putting Fournette over Chubb is to say that he's getting targets now, which I don't think is true. So if they're both those runners, first, second down runners, then I'm taking Chubb.
Yeah.
Chubb has the ability, and I genuinely believe this, has the ability to be the best running back in the league.
Yeah.
The running back that teams want to have. I'm not saying fantasy running back. You got to catch the ball to be a fantasy running back. And if you got another good running back in your backfield, that's tough. But Chubb has the ability to be just all pro.
Yeah. I kind of compare him to like Derrick Henry. Didn't have the same career, but he's got that type of role where he's not the pass catcher. He's not doing this. But yeah, so I love that pick. But the one thing that troubles me with Ruggermad, and we're just going to start talking about receivers, is he didn't get any. He goes Odell Beckham. He gets AJ Green in the 7th, McLaurin in the 8th, and I love the Gallup pick in the 11th.
Yeah,
but that's his 4 receivers.
Yeah, and I mean that's still a good group in itself, but compared to everybody else's, it is really sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
I've been teasing it for about a half hour, but we're talking about Ruggermad's receivers. AJ Green's a big problem for me.
Yeah,
That's a big problem for me. I love AJ Green. I think that he is worth a flyer, but that wasn't a flyer. There were still plenty of good, solid guys you should have taken. Landry, Hilton, Allen, Boyd, maybe Parker you could argue. And I would feel much better, even if it's, I know Allen and Hilton fell to the 9th, but if it's Allen or Hilton at that 7-7, I feel much better.
Yeah, me too. The problem with AJ Green is he's on the Bengals and the team's changing, and you see these old receivers playing on a team that's new and changing. They fade off. There's no fantasy value left for AJ Green. Really, he's going to have a couple good weeks. But think of Des Bryant when they started changing to Prescott and Elliott. Yeah, gone. What like?
I agree, and I can see AJ Green making some big headlines, but I think they're just that, they're headlines. I think you still drafted him like he's going to produce, that he still has to kind of be AJ Green, and by putting that capital into him, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah,
and I think I'm happy to take Green later and hope, but I don't want to rely on it. McLaurin is highly risky. Now, I love McLaurin. I'm on record saying McLaurin's going to be one of the top 10 receivers in the NFL within the next couple years.
Yeah, and I am on the record saying he won't.
But fantasy football-wise, this year, Dwayne Haskins, new coach, I mean, same thing. Same thing with Green and McLaurin is the same sort of message that you were given about sort of the continuity, about the new quarterback and all that stuff. I don't like it. I don't want it right now.
Yeah.
And these are places where you would still have good receivers on the board. And Kelsey, Andrews, those two tight end picks.
Oh, yeah. What's he doing taking Mark Andrews if he already had Kelsey? That's that winter confidence. That's that Antarctica kind of, a scouting report they're getting out there.
Now, Ruggerman, I mean, he is the champion, so, who are we to say? Though, I mean, I won my league last year. He wasn't in it.
Yeah.
But
he just, the two tight ends, he skimps on quarterback a little bit, but I think the Wentz and the Stafford is a perfectly fine pairing.
Oh,
but as we said with all these other teams, he's skimping on receiver, which is the best position to skimp on.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that he took Sanders and Edwards-Helaire they have to be rock solid running backs. That's why it's such a risk for the way he did his team.
Yeah. He's got two of the best tight ends, and unless this is a tight end premium, which was not mentioned, there was no reason to take Andrews, and it's hurting a lot of the depth that you have to have with that risk that you went earlier. So we're not huge fans of the construction here for the defending champ, but you mentioned Wentz Stafford. I am really pumped about Wentz Stafford.
Yeah.
Because, everyone do those runs. You do all that crazy shit you other 7-6 guys over here are doing. I'll just take Wentz and Stafford, who arguably is a better duo than basically everyone except for M. Kemsford and Nathan M.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of the quarterback situation, and Newton in the 18th is a steal.
Oh, yeah.
He's only in the 18th because they haven't nominated him the official starter yet. He's going to be the starter in New England.
Oh, yeah.
New England's hemorrhaging defensive players who are opting out. This is a great year for Newton, so I am pumped about Ruggermad's quarterbacks.
The end of his draft was nice. He hits on some people you need to take risks on. Deontay Johnson, Preston Williams, Newton to N'Keal Harry. That's awesome, too. So, he definitely took some good risks at the end.
Yeah, and you can, I don't know. We're going to be very wrong about a lot of the things we just said about Ruggermad.
As we always are.
Which we were wrong quite a bit last year.
It's hard to predict the whole dang season before it happens.
Yeah, it is.
And such a strange year as it is.
The best pick that last year, that you called the best pick, was Kerryon Johnson for Jay Budd. And mine was Kelsey in the second round for Ruggermad.
All right.
This very Ruggermad.
Well, that was better than mine. So my guy got hurt in week 2.
Yeah, Ruggermad takes Kelsey in the second last year, and I call it the best pick of the draft. Now he takes Kelsey in the second, and I'm ragging on him?
Yeah.
What kind of consistency is this from me?
The consistency is not the name of this podcast.
We're called the Headless Chickens, folks. Yeah. We're called the Headless Chickens. All right, we got 6 minutes here. We're doing an hour on this 18 league.
All right.
Whatever. And let's get
to Nathan. Who's been waiting patiently. He takes Mahomes Jackson. Goes all out on quarterback. I mean, you gotta love the
chutzpah.
Just the balls of it, man. I don't know what to describe it as. It's just the guy's got the cojones to say, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to double down. Like, if you took one of them there, it's still a questionable pick. But he takes both of them and goes, yes.
Yeah. I love it. I already talked about it in the risky picks, and I'm all for it. The Godwin-Galladay thing, I love it as well. I'm into it. Cup Woods. Nathan, what was Nathan drinking? Nathan had some liquid courage going here because he's like, I got 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
I got 2 receivers. It's coming back to me. Everyone's taking running backs. I need to start 3 running backs. I'm going back-to-back Rams receivers.
I know. Just loads up.
But I like the actual players he is taking. I like them.
Yeah.
I like them.
But then just bleeds at running back,
Bleeding at running back. Yeah. It comes back to the 7th, and the Ertz pick, that's one of the worst picks of the draft.
Yeah.
That's a bad pick. First of all, Nathan, you drafted 2 quarterbacks, so you aren't dabbling in tight end. You're punting tight end.
Yeah.
Unless there's some major value, which I don't think that Ertz is that major value.
I don't either. I think Andrews is over Ertz. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was unnecessary. You start taking your running backs there.
Yeah.
That's where you needed to do it. But you know what? For the running backs he did get, I'm kind of liked it. Carry-on's got a chance. Mack could still have that backfield. Ronald Jones, I still think has that. I don't care about the LaShawn McCoy signing.
Me neither. He was a healthy scratch at the Super Bowl.
And then Dobbins has kind of been that, sleeper guy that's going to take over for Ingram because Ingram's like 30 years old and that's running back, rest in peace time.
Yep.
So,
that's right.
The guys he did get in rounds 8, 9, 10, and 12, it's like, okay.
I don't mind it at all. I think they did a good job.
Nathan
did it.
And M. It's 2 people, yeah.
I think they did a good job buying those running backs that nobody else wants.
Yeah.
And that's why they're there.
And Sony Michel in the 16th. I mean, why not? That's okay with me.
I wonder if he's picked up Lamar Miller at all. See how that whole injury thing forms itself. Doesn't do a lot for backup receiver. Debo is a decent pick in the 11th, though I'm nervous about it. In this league, there's so many players on the draft board, but remember, there's only 6 bench spots. So it's not like a dynasty where you get to kind of hold on to some guys and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous about the Debo pick, the Pittman pick, the T. Higgins pick. I don't think he's got a lot of depth after his 4 receivers that he took. But
he might not need it either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you're on the side with the running backs, but I was going to say he really saved it with those running backs. It's not pretty. It's ugly, in fact.
Yeah.
But they're all on teams. They're all running backs who are still pretty young, who are being drafted lower from just narrative reasons and depth chart reasons that probably won't show themselves immediately in September. And then he's got a couple running backs who might need till October, November, being Dobbins and Michelle.
Yeah.
So I think Nathan did a good job. And that is why I pick Nathan to win.
Hey, Nathan. All right. I'm going to say he's the Canadian of the group. As Rugger Mad's in Antarctica. I picked L. Kemsford.
Okay.
I'm going against the world again. I'm going with the Kemsfords.
You went M. Kemsford last time.
Yeah.
Went L. Kemsford. So sorry about your championship loss, L. Kemsford.
I just like the Barkley, the Mixon, Drake, and then he paired Ridley with Matt Ryan. I think he nailed his running backs and he got enough value at receiver. I think he's going to go pretty far to a championship loss to Rugger Mad. But I think everybody's got a pretty good team. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be competitive, obviously. Yeah, being only 8 teams, but yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing egregious in this really at all. I mean, we review a lot of drafts, and many of them have picks that are just like, does this guy even watch football? Not here. We dramatize some stuff, but this is a good draft, a good group of guys or girls, and I don't know. It is a toss-up. I could see. In fact, I'm considering drafting Sanders and Edwards-Helaire higher now because of all the guff we gave Rugger Mad, and therefore I win either way.
All right.
Called hedging your bet.
That is hedging a bet. Yeah. That's so risky to me. But, I mean, there's so many people that you have to play, and especially, we said this earlier in the episode about it being 2020, the COVID thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, there really isn't a safe pick. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff has to do with just the actual health and will teams play. I mean,
And there's no practices, there's no preseason. I want the teams that have already played together.
yeah.
And Chiefs and Ravens are top 5 of that.
Yeah.
And that's why Mahomes and Jackson.
Yeah. And then COVID, gone, and he has no quarterback.
It'll only be a 3-week loss for either of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hit an hour.
Yep. You know,
That's classic headless chickens.
you know, it's just part of the deal. You know, we get rambling, and you know, I'm sure we rambled about some randomness.
I remember doing a Trump impression at one point. So.
I couldn't leave it out. God, it's just a strange time nowadays. But yeah.
All right. Well, we are the headless chickens. Good night.